Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it is a dark and stormy night right now, which is actually really nice because I have some time to finally film this video that I have been meaning to film for a while. I am jumping on this bandwagon super late because I just got my YouTube up and running. So I will be doing a assumptions video. I'm going to be reading and reacting to some of your assumptions about me and my life. And I know I'm super late for this YouTube trend. Like, I'm not even on the bandwagon. I'm like in the little cart in the back that's like squeaking along by itself. We are just going to jump right into some of these. I got a lot of repeated ones, so I'm not going to read those. I'm just going to do the ones that I think are relevant or interesting, or ones that I get a lot. So one that I get a lot is, you're really cool but totally antisocial and keep your circle small for these reasons. And this is actually fairly true. I also get a lot of comments saying you're actually an introvert, or you know, you prefer to be alone, you like your alone time, and those are all extremely true. I'm very good at being extroverted. I'm very good at being out around people, but as soon as I'm done having to be out and social, I am back in my room alone in my pajamas. I definitely keep my circle of very close friends small. Like, I have a lot of, you know, friends and acquaintances that I see regularly, but I'm only very close with a very small amount of people. So I would definitely say that, and I would say that I am kind of a mixture between extrovert and introvert. I can be an extrovert when I need to be, but yes, I do prefer a smaller group or absolutely no one around. That I am super kinky. Yes and no to this one. I do have my kinks, I suppose, just like everyone else does. I'm not a super sexual person, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think about sex all the time. Sex isn't something that I like require and have to have, you know, to feel good about myself or to satiate myself. Like, I can get just as much out of intimacy and close contact as I can out of sex. Like, it's not like a big deal for me. I do enjoy sex, but it's definitely not my be all and end all. But I do have some kinks, little kinky here and there. I mean, I do run a fetish club, so I do understand the kink world and BDSM and things like that very well. But for myself, my kinks tend to be very specific and very kind of out there. So it's not something that most people have. We're not going to talk about kinks in this video, but maybe for another video. You can be extremely picky with food. This is an absolute false one. I love to eat. I love food. My two favorite things to do are take naps and eat. So no, I am not picky at all about food, and I eat a lot and I love to eat. This assumption says that the snapshots of your life are not all you are or aspire to be. I'm assuming this was from my Instagram, so I'm assuming like my snapshot story or my Snapchat or something like that. I mean, that's kind of an interesting assumption because I feel like that's everybody. Like, you know, what you see on social media is not what everyone is entirely, or what they're entirely wanting to be with their life. You know, we always aspire to be more. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to grow and want to be more, but I mean, I do try to put as much of my life in my social media as possible because people seem to enjoy following it. But I mean, it's not 100% my entire life. There's obviously a lot going on, you know, behind the scenes that isn't going to be on my Instagram. So I would say that's kind of just like one of those assumptions. It's like, yeah, but that's everybody. You love all the women. Yes, I do. I love all women. I am not picky with women. I love all shapes and sizes. I find women very beautiful. I like very laid back, no drama women, which is actually very hard to find, but physically I love all women. So that is very true. You're thinking about chicken nuggets right now. I am thinking about food right now, but it's not chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets could be good though, if they were like the good kind, not like the gross kind. Yeah, food sounds great. And you are laid back. Yes and no. I like to think that I'm laid back, but because of my anxiety, I feel like I'm not that laid back, if that makes sense. My anxiety keeps me from actually being laid back. You are insecure sometimes. I mean, again, I feel like that's everybody. Yeah, I have my moments of insecurity. I'm definitely a very confident person as compared to what I used to be. But of course, I mean, everyone has their insecurities. We have our moments where we're like, oh, I look like crap today, or oh, I wish I could change this, or I wish I could, you know, do this differently. But as far as like where I used to be, I am definitely like 80% more confident than I used to be. But yeah, everyone has their insecure moments. You find yourself more attracted to women than men. This is a complicated one because it's two different types of attraction. Like for women, I find myself more physically attracted. Like I'm more likely to have a one-night stand with a woman than I am a guy. With men, I'm very demisexual, so I have to have like a connection with someone to be able to like enjoy being intimate or sexual with them. But with women, like I'm like, hello, you're beautiful. Like I would love to enjoy you. But with men, it's a little bit different. This assumption says, you are good with kids even if you don't want them. I don't know if I'm good with them. I don't think I'm bad with them. Like, I guess it depends on what the age of the child is too. Like toddlers, like I can play with them for a while, but then they want to keep going and I'm tired. Babies, like I'm always afraid that someone's gonna hand them to me and they're going to start crying and I'm going to feel guilty. I'm okay with kids, but they also cause me anxiety, if that makes sense. Kids do stare at me a lot though. Like, I don't know if I just give off a weird energy or have an interesting aura or if I just look weird. You are really goofy and silly most of the time. I feel like that's accurate. I feel like I use like goofiness and silliness sometimes to try and like relax situations. Like if it's a serious situation that's maybe getting a little too serious, like I'll try to insert some comedy. You know, when I'm just at home by myself, like I'm just relaxing but yeah, I'm a pretty silly and goofy person. I have been my whole life. You love chicken wings. A lot of people think I'm thinking about chicken a lot. Like that seems to be a thing that people, I'm just sitting here thinking about chicken nuggets, chicken wings. Hey, now I want chicken. I mean, I do love chicken wings, don't get me wrong. This assumption says that you're a badass woman married to a badass husband.
No. No.
I feel like that's pretty accurate. We are a badass. I'll take it. I assume you make a lot of money as a stripper. You're beautiful and have a great personality. First of all, thank you, that's very sweet. I do make a good amount. You know, when I first started stripping 5 years ago, it was kind of just something that I wanted to try because my life was being kind of just taken over by this 9-to-5 job that I have where I was making like $12 an hour. And I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to have time to do the things I wanted to do. Plus, you know, waking up early was not working for me. I was getting very sick from having to, you know, be awake during the day. So, you know, I started stripping and I will say this, I made more in one night than I made in a month at my job that I was at. So I pretty much quit my job then and started stripping part-time and making a good amount of money just doing that. And, you know, now I've got other avenues as well. So it's, you know, it's just kind of built up from there. So yes, I definitely do make a decent amount. Obviously it's like any you know, self-employed job. Some days are bad, some days are good, some days you're gonna walk out with a ton and some days you're gonna walk out with hardly anything. So let's see. I assume being a part of social media has made you lose your way a bit and contributed to you feeling down. No, I mean, I've been on social media since the beginning of MySpace. So like social media isn't like, it's not a new thing for me. Obviously YouTube kind of is, but I've been on camera my whole freaking life. So I don't think that that really has anything to do with it. I do definitely feel that pressure sometimes, and I feel like anyone who's, you know, an influencer or on social media, has a big social media presence, sometimes will feel the pressure of, you know, other people's opinions and other people's, you know, what they have to say and things like that, and making sure that people, you know, are enjoying your content that you're putting out. And it is a lot of pressure, and I feel like that can oftentimes add to anxiety or depression or any type of stress. And I definitely do feel that sometimes, but I definitely do not attribute my social media presence with the majority of my mental illness. I originally assumed so gorgeous that she's probably a bitch, but after watching several documentaries, I find you quite charming and sweet. I don't feel like I'm necessarily a bitch. I think that I'm easily irritated by a lot. Like I get irritated a lot, and I don't usually lash out right away. Like it takes a while to build up, so I'll just kind of sit and bury it, which I think is probably more dangerous than just being an outright bitch. I assume you struggle with your parents thinking that if you lived in a way that was accepted by society that you would be happier. Yes, I will say that that is a fairly accurate assumption, but only because specifically my mom, like, worries about me. Like, she worries about me. And I feel like most parents, like, they have an idea of what they want for their kids. And I kind of, you know, threw her for a loop when I was like, you know, awakened as a vampire at 15, and so she was having to deal with that, and then I was like, hey, I'm marrying this guy, and now we're king and queen of Vampire Court of Austin, and we're also open and poly, and oh, now I'm a stripper, and, you know, so yeah. She's definitely before been like, your life is very hectic, it's very chaotic, this is why you're anxious all the time. And yeah, my life is very hectic and very chaotic. It has been for many, many years, ever since I took on all the responsibilities that I did. But it's definitely who I am now. You know, these responsibilities aren't just responsibilities anymore, like, they are who I am, and I don't know who I would be without them. So my mom wishes that my life was more calm, it was more, like, less chaotic. And I mean, I probably wouldn't necessarily be happier, but I would probably be less anxious all the time. Assumption, you hide a lot of your true emotions. 100% yes. If there's a situation going on and I'm feeling a certain way about it, I'm probably not going to do or say anything at that moment. I'm gonna wait until the situation has passed. But I mean, I do talk about my emotions a lot. Like, I talk about them here. I'm opening up to you guys here. And that's something that's very new for me. I do have a hard time opening up. I do have a hard time talking about my emotions. Just because for so long my emotions ruled me, and then, you know, I started learning how to not let them rule me, and I started to kind of just, even if I'm in pain or even if I'm not doing well, I just continue on and, like, bury them and just keep getting done what I need to get done, because there's more important things that I need to do that don't have to do with me. Like, I'm not worried about myself, I'm worried about, you know, the other things that I have to do, the other people that I have to take care of. So yes, I do feel like that is a fairly accurate assumption. You do some LARP on the weekends. So for those who don't know, LARP means live action role play. And I actually don't. I'm not really into LARPing. I'm not into video games. I'm not, like, a big comic book nerd. I'm nerdy about certain things, but really not, like, I'm around nerds. Like, every guy that I've ever been with has been a nerd. Like, I've surrounded myself with nerds. So I'm very, like, you know, experienced in that culture, in nerd culture, but I myself am not. Like, I'm not a LARPer, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons roleplay video game cosplay person. I obviously do some with my husband because I'm a supportive wife and that's what I like to do. But it's, you know, it's fun. I like to dress up and I like to do photo shoots and I like to, you know, go to Comic-Cons and things like that. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely more his thing than mine. I think I've LARPed twice in my entire life and I was terrible at it. I pretty much just hid in the corner. This is funny. I would assume that you are standoffish and kind of rude to people, but I know that you are a very sweet person and my inner Hufflepuff is demanding that I make you cookies as an apology. It's totally okay to assume that. First of all, don't feel bad, but I will take the cookies. I like cookies. I have a lot of different aspects of myself, and sometimes one is out and the other one is in and one's dominant, and so some days I can be very standoffish and some days I can be, like, super friendly. So I guess it just depends on my mood at the time or what's going on. Or if the person's an asshole. Like, if the person's an asshole, I'm probably gonna be rude and standoffish. I assume that you are a little difficult to make an emotional connection with, but when you trust someone and let your guard down, you have a warm, lifelong connection with them. Yes, that is 100% accurate. I don't know what else to say. I feel like the whole thing was accurate. Yes, to that one. I assume that you have a secret candy stash. What secret candy stash? This assumption is that you don't really accept Logan's girlfriend. So I actually get this assumption quite a bit in different forms. A lot of, oh, Daley hates Lona. Oh, obviously they hate each other. Oh, Daley's not actually happy being in a polyamorous relationship. Oh, Daley doesn't like, you know, Logan's girlfriend. And I really think that a lot of that is people projecting their own insecurities onto us. Like, they can't imagine, you know, being married to someone who also has a girlfriend. So I feel like that is kind of a big one that I get a lot. Like, we were all together when we first got together. When we first met Alona 3 years ago, we were all three together. And during that time, I had just gotten engaged. I was working on my marriage. I was focusing on my husband, like, and I just did not have the emotional or mental energy to put into another relationship. I wasn't able to give her the attention that a partner should. So yeah, that's definitely not something that is accurate. And I get that assumption, that question, and that comment a ton under my videos, under Logan's videos. People are always trying to find a problem where there isn't one. And I think it's just so hard for people to understand or accept that someone can make a relationship that's outside of the norm work, or make a relationship happy that they just don't understand or accept. I assume that you and Alona are BFFs. I also have another one that says, I assume you and Alona are really close. We're definitely pretty close. If you live with someone and they're also with your husband and you're, you know, all going through all these life things together, you're going to become, ooh, the thunder. It's storming so hard outside, guys. But yeah, you're going to get close with someone in those situations. I will say that our personalities are widely different. You know, having gone through everything that we have together, that closeness is definitely there. And I have a video coming up that she's going to be in, so make sure you subscribe for that. You get a lot of requests from people asking you to turn them into a vampire. Yeah. On my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my fan pages, everywhere. You can't be turned into a vampire, you have to be born one, so I can't really help you with that. This assumption says that you don't actually drink that much blood. That is accurate. I would say a teaspoon to a tablespoonful once to twice a month is about all that we do. So yeah, I would say that's an accurate assumption. Definitely not that much. Not as much as one would think. That you can be really shy in a large group. I'll get drunk and run naked through the street. That's the type of person that I am. Don't care how many people are around. So I'm definitely not shy. I can get overwhelmed and need a break when there's a lot of people, but shy is not something that I possess. If I could be naked right now, I would be. That you could honestly melt into most social groups, no problem. Yes, I am a chameleon, and I take pride in the fact that I can pretty much be whoever I need to be for any situation or group. So yeah, I would say that that's fairly accurate. If they're a group of racist, bigoted assholes, I'm not going to fit in very well, but I will fit my foot into their face. Maybe my fist into their face, because I'm not very flexible. I can't get my foot up that high, but I could put my foot somewhere else. I had a hard time getting people to send me assumptions. I think they were probably, since it's not anonymous, I think people were kind of afraid to make juicy assumptions because they were worried that I was going to be mad at them or something, but I know people are thinking them, so you might as well say them. I would assume that you guys like more Satan side of things, which isn't good, but it's really hot. I'm one of those people that's like not religious but spiritual. I know, whatever. Put the hate in the comments. I was raised religious. I was raised Christian, and I definitely do believe in the possibility of things like that, but I'm definitely not someone who is very religious. I am enjoying the aspect of Satan and Lucifer being more widely kind of accepted with the shows that are on. Sabrina, Lucifer, Supernatural, like it's, there's even a bunch more shows coming out. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a ton coming out. I am a darker person, but I don't really consider myself like satanic or anything like that. All right, guys, so that is all the assumptions that I have for you. I have a lot of fun videos planned, but I wanted to get this one done and out since it is storming and it is kind of a simple video. But if there's a video that you guys can think of that you want to see me do, I'm open to suggestions. Put them in the comments. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.